It's about a husband, we'll call him Mark, who's dealing with some unexpected emotions after his wife, let's call her Susan, goes through a pretty significant glow-up.
Ah, the glow up. It's a popular term these days.
It is. And in this case, Mark describes Susan's transformation over the past year, physical changes, increased confidence, even getting attention from other people.
Sounds like she's really coming into her own, but I'm guessing that's where things get a little complicated for Mark.
Exactly. He's happy for her, of course, but he also admits to feeling insecure, even a bit outclassed at times.
It's a very relatable struggle, honestly. Navigating those shifts in a long-term relationship can be tricky.
And naturally, Reddit had a lot to say about it.
I can only imagine. The comments section must have been a goldmine.
Oh, it was. Some commenters took a more lighthearted approach. Like, one person told Mark he's the real winner because he gets to take her home at night.
Ah, yes, the old trophy spouse perspective.
Exactly. But others emphasized the importance of communication, urging Mark to talk to Susan about his feelings.
Which, let's be honest, is usually pretty solid advice in these situations.
For sure. There were also practical tips, like complimenting Susan's efforts, not just her appearance, or planning activities together.
Those are great suggestions. It's about supporting each other's growth and maintaining a strong connection.
And then there were those who went full armchair psychologist, speculating about Susan's motives and whether she might be seeking attention elsewhere.
Ah, yes. The internet's favorite pastime analyzing situations with limited information.
It's a good reminder to take online advice with a grain of salt, right?
Absolutely. There are always multiple sides to every story.
Now, one thing that really got people talking was Mark's comment about masculinity. He mentioned feeling a bit insecure about his own self-perception in light of Susan's transformation.
Interesting. Did he elaborate on that?
He did. He specifically said he rejects the idea of toxic masculinity and doesn't feel the need to conform to any stereotypical image of what a man should be.
It's fascinating how this personal anecdote tapped into a broader conversation about societal expectations and the pressures men face.
And here's where things get really interesting. Mark actually gave an update to his original post after he talked to Susan.
Oh, there's a follow-up. I love it when that happens.
That's like getting the next chapter, right? So in his update, Mark reveals what led to Susan's transformation. Turns out she'd been going through a lot, turning 40, a death in the family, starting a new job, and just this overall desire for personal growth.
Wow, that definitely adds another layer to the whole thing. It shows how life events can really influence how we see ourselves, don't you think?
Absolutely. And remember how Mark was worried about Susan turning heads? Well, she actually addressed that head on, saying she barely goes anywhere without him.
Well, that speaks volumes, doesn't it? It seems like her focus is still very much on their relationship, despite any extra attention she might be getting.
Right. And get this, she's not even fazed by the attention. Mark even says she's not someone who goes out with friends all the time anyway.
He just reinforces the idea that this glow-up, it wasn't about seeking validation from other people. It sounds like it was more about finding her own strength and confidence during a tough time.
Yeah, kind of like she leveled up in life and was surprised by the perks. But it's not just about Susan. Mark gets real about his own insecurities, too, admitting he might have let things slide a bit in his own life.
That takes a lot of courage to admit that, especially publicly. It shows he's willing to be introspective and look at his own role in all of this.
And you can tell the Reddit community really appreciated his honesty. A lot of people praised him for his self-awareness.
Which, hey, that's one of the good things about these online spaces. There can be a real sense of support and encouragement.
It's also really cool to see how Susan's journey ended up motivating Mark in a way. He realized he wants to make some positive changes in his own life, too.
It's a perfect example of how one person's growth can inspire those around them. It's not a threat, it's an opportunity.
And you know those commenters who were quick to judge Susan's motivations? Well, Mark calls them out directly.
Oh, he did. I bet that was interesting.
He didn't mince words, let me tell you. He pointed out how some people made assumptions based on very limited information.
That's so true, though. It's easy to get caught up in making judgments when you only have one side of the story.
He urged anyone going through something similar to really be careful about the advice they take from strangers online.
That's some solid advice right there. The internet can be a great resource, but it's important to remember that everyone's situation is unique.
Exactly. What works for one couple might not work for another.
At the end of the day, the most important thing is to talk to each other honestly and openly.
100%. And speaking of communication, Mark really emphasizes how talking to Susan made their relationship even stronger.
That makes sense. By sharing their vulnerabilities and concerns, they were able to work through the issues together.
It sounds like they've reached this whole new level of understanding and support.
Mm-hmm.
This whole discussion about glow-ups and self-improvement makes you think, how much should we really care about external validation in a relationship?
That's a big one, isn't it? It's definitely something to consider.
It's so easy to get caught up in what other people think. Especially these days with social media constantly telling us how we should look or what we should be doing. But how much should that matter when it comes to our relationships?
That's the million-dollar question, right? It's natural to enjoy compliments from our partners, to feel good when they find us attractive. But those external things, they shouldn't be the be-all and end-all of our self-worth or the relationship.
It's about finding that balance, I guess. Appreciating those compliments without letting them define us or our connection.
Exactly. Because a truly strong relationship, it's built on a foundation of respect, trust, and genuine connection. It's about valuing each other for who we are inside and out, and encouraging each other to grow.
And it seems like Mark and Susan, they were able to figure that out. They both went on their own journeys of self-improvement, not for anyone else, but for themselves. And they kept talking to each other through it all, sharing their vulnerabilities and offering support.
Their story is a testament to how important open communication is. When couples can talk about their insecurities, celebrate each other's wins, and navigate those inevitable challenges together, it can really strengthen their bond.
It's a good reminder that relationships are always changing, evolving. As we grow and change as individuals, so does the dynamic between us. The key is to approach those changes with empathy, understanding, and that willingness to communicate.
And sometimes it helps to get a little outside perspective. Talking to a therapist or counselor, someone who can offer tools and insights, can be really valuable for couples who want to improve their communication and build a stronger foundation.
That's great advice. And on that note, we want to thank you for joining us on this deep dive into relationships, self-discovery, and the wild world of online advice.
It's been a pleasure exploring these topics with you.
We hope this has given you some things to think about as you navigate your own journey. Remember, open communication, respect, and that commitment to growth. Those are the keys to a fulfilling and lasting relationship. Until next time, keep exploring.